So via DD on Twitter, I learned about this astounding milestone. Turns out that Gemini 2.5 Pro can ace the IIT-JEE, the joint entrance exam. This is the entrance exam that millions of graduating high schoolers in India take in order to secure a seat at the elite Indian institutes of technology. Now, the fact that LLMs can ace these really challenging exams, things like the math Olympiads, top coder competitions, and now even JEE, that itself is not a surprise. We've seen them do this. But this hits a bit different because it's a cultural thing. In India, if you're a high schooler that's studying math and science, the JEE is very much your North Star. And it's not like the SATs or other college exams in the Western world. It really is a big deal. The students and their families really contort their entire lives during the last 2-3 years of high school to try and get through this exam. There's an entire cottage industry. It's not even a cottage industry. It's a pretty large industry of coaching classes and tutors that charge a lot of money to teach people how to do well on these exams. The top rankers are really celebrated. The heroes in their hometowns, their photos are on the front pages of all the major newspapers. And this is now somewhat a question of identity, because the students and their families, to them, this is such a big deal. This is not just a question of AI enabling a ton of productivity. It's more a question of, like I say over here, what even is my identity? And I feel like my whole life was a lie. So this raises a lot of questions about what the purpose of really challenging exams like this is, how it feels to be grinding for something like this when you know AI can ace it. Now, of course, when you're taking the exam, you don't have AI. You have to take the exam raw, so to speak, just with your own brain. You don't have calculators or computers or anything like that when you're taking the exam. But it must feel somewhat like trying to show off your skills at horse riding when you know that the automobile is about to take off. Anyway, so let's look at the actual paper where this result was published. This is actually tucked away as a small detail in a blog post describing Seed 1.6, which is from ByteDance, and this page is in Mandarin, so I have to translate it. And apparently Seed 1.6 is the latest LLM from the ByteDance team. It is a multimodal LLM, and what they did was they used the JEE as one of their benchmarks. And so the top score is 360. The person who scored the number 1 rank this year got 332, I think. Yeah, first place scored 332 points. And Gemini 2.5 Pro got 336. The Seed 1.6 model got 329, so pretty close. And then I went and did some more searching. Turns out ByteDance were not the first people to use this as a benchmark. Other people had naturally tried it out. So, for example, just earlier this month, a few people tried out O4 Mini High, and they got a score of 313. And I think that still puts you, it puts you in the top 20, 313 out of 360. They used O4 Mini High. What I found funny was that the prompt was simply solve and explain. And then there is another data point, an alumnus of IIT used O3, and she got a benchmark score of 327 out of 360, and that would have been in the top 5. And she used a much more detailed prompt. Suppose you're a student, try your best to solve this question, etc., etc. Anyway, so I just wanted to make a quick video because while this is not a surprising milestone, I think at a cultural and personal level, it's a bit different. I actually went to an IIT many years ago. I went to IIT Delhi. So I'm kind of familiar with the lens to which students go to try and do well on this exam. And I don't think much has changed in that regard. So yeah, I don't think it's going to change how hard people try to prepare for this exam, because it's still a very big deal. But they're going to have this thought in the back of their minds as they're doing this. All right, thanks. Bye.